Buenos días y bienvenidos a todos. Good morning and welcome, everyone. Welcome to a community dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shearer, and I am the spiritual director and founding minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. If you would like to join us for the live Zoom meeting, please contact me for the link and password, or check our website, www.cslpv.org, on the weekly talk section. Today is Sunday, July 26, 2026. We are continuing our annual theme of Open at the Top and our monthly theme, Whole, no matter what. The topic for this week is a world that values all of who we are. The suggested reading material for this month has been a book by Prentice Hamfill, What It Takes to Heal and How Transforming Ourselves Can Change the World. So at this time, I'd like to once again welcome everyone, including those that are new to our teaching and to our center in Vallarta, whether you are on the live Zoom call or watching the replay at a later time. We teach a philosophy that honors all faith traditions. So whatever path you are on, know that it is the right one for you. Everyone is welcome here. We teach the philosophy called the science of mind. It is a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom, where we offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth, and we honor diversity in all aspects. When Dr. Ernest Holmes founded this teaching in the 1920s, he had studied both Eastern and Western spiritual texts in order to create the science of mind, which focuses on the individual use of thoughts and this powerful thing called the mind. When asked to provide a concise definition of the teaching of science of mind, he replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. So each week, we offer a service with an inspirational message. We offer the Zoom meeting at 10 a.m. and meet in person Sundays at noon. After service, whether it's online or in person, please hang out with us afterwards to enjoy a cup of coffee and some great conversation with like-minded people. And now, as we do each week, let's review our purpose, vision, and mission statements. We have a grand purpose here each week, and that is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. We do this by means of our vision, creating the life you desire. And this is supported by our mission to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. And more on all of these can be found on our website. And so now let's join together for the spiritual mind treatment for today. And I'll just remind you that spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person. So I invite you to gently close your eyes and take these words as your own, if you so choose. I connect with God's love. The upward expansion of the universe began with the spark of God's love. It is the same impulse moving me forward on my spiritual path. My quest for knowledge and understanding is balanced by the recognition that my life is already perfect. God and I are one. I become still so that my mind opens my connection with God, and what I need to know is known. In the birth of a star such as the sun, God's love reveals the way. I am open and awake and know that my connection with God is clear. My life is a grand adventure, a path of unlimited wonder. God's love carries me forward to be the light, and I see the light in others. My heart is brimming full with thanksgiving. Each moment is the grace of God in action. I swim in the energy of God's love. I release my word, and so it is. And that was originally submitted by Reverend Mary Mitchell from Redding, California. So, how do we create a world that works for everyone and all of creation? To create a world that works for everyone and all of creation, we must create a world that values all of who we are. This may sound simple, but it's not easy. We live in a world that seems full of division and strife, yet we have the tools to work toward a more inclusive, just, equitable world where everyone has a place to belong. Today's reading is from Rabbi Yael Levy, praying with the news from awaken.org. And they wrote, the 17th of the Hebrew month, Tammuz, initiates a 3-week period of mourning that leads to a Tisha B'Av, the day that marks the destruction of the temples in Jerusalem in 586 BC and 70 CE. Jewish tradition teaches that the temple was destroyed because hatred became the operating principle in the community. The scorn, contempt, and disdain that characterized daily interactions caused the divine presence to flee and leave the temple vulnerable to attack. The wisdom of the tradition acknowledges that hatred can sometimes feel energizing and so right, but allowing it to fill our bodies and guide our actions leads to destruction. A powerful practice during this time is praying with the news. In this practice, each time we read or listen to a news report that enrages us, we turn our attention to those harmed by what is happening and pray for their healing and well-being. Doing so encourages us to acknowledge feelings of anger, grief, and despair. And at the same time, it turns our attention toward connection and compassion. Praying with the news can help us learn to bear witness to devastation and mayhem while keeping our hearts soft, our minds calm, and our actions clear. We might struggle with this practice these days in the wake of continued violence and oppression in this country and throughout the world. Hatred can sometimes feel like such a welcome harbor. Not only does it feel so right, it can also act as a shield, creating the illusion that we don't have to acknowledge the grief and heartbreak that we are experiencing. We need practices to help quiet the rage and the fear, to loosen the constriction of hatred, and to help us be with our overwhelming grief. We need practices to help us return to compassion, love, joy, and possibility. Praying with the news can be both painful and helpful. It helps us connected, it keeps us connected, allows sorrow, and grounds us in care and love. So this month, we have explored the idea that we are whole just as we are. And this week, we bring our exploration full circle, asking how we might help create a world that truly values each person in their full, authentic wholeness. Ernest Holmes wrote this: "There is no principle known to science that is limited by any use that was ever made of it. The past does not have a relationship to the present and in the creation of the future. But if we break the sequence and initiate a new chain of causation through volition, then the same power that brought bondage will bring freedom." So, to create a world that works for everyone and all of creation, we must create a world that values all of who we are. Who decides what works means, and who decides what everyone includes? We live in a world that seems full of division and strife, yet we have the tools to work toward a more inclusive, just, equitable world where everyone has a place to belong. And Adrienne Mary Brown wrote, "We create the patterns of our society through our choices and beliefs and practices. As such, the path to a future in which humans can be in an authentic and accountable peace with each other is fractal. We must be willing to practice authenticity and accountability at the small scale of ourselves and our lives, both in ourselves and in our immediate relationships. A healed society would be one in which no one becomes the bearer of unjust hardship, where individuals don't bear the weight of systematic failures. We can heal our relations to each other to move forward and toward a reality in which no one is given a life that only produces trauma and suffering." To create a healed society where everyone is valued for who they are requires being accountable, building relationships, setting boundaries, and making amends. And Ernest Holmes wrote this: "We all seek to become whole. Our apparent unwholeness is in not understanding that part of us, which already is whole, and our search for it is occasioned by the fact that something is always telling us that it is there." So taking accountability for our feelings and the impact our actions have on others is vital. If we don't understand our own feelings, we can project them onto others, causing harm, even if we didn't intend to cause that harm. Brown writes that accountable practices can be contagious. The more we can take accountability for our own feelings and impacts, the more we invite others to handle their own needs and feelings, which makes way for interdependence. And this helps us to build relationships, not assumptions. We often relate to others based on societal labels and stereotypes, and we assign people relative worth based on those assumptions, which makes it difficult to have deep relationships. So instead, be curious. Adrienne Mary Brown wrote this: "Let yourself be surprised by the person in front of you, rather than constantly comparing them to limited colonial ideas of what their race, ethnicity, gender, class, ability, or other constructed stereotype is cast to be like. So a society is like a quilt made from different pieces of cloth. Each piece has its own color, pattern, history, and texture. The quilt is not beautiful because of the pieces that are alike. It is beautiful because they are joined. When the fabric tears, pretending there is no damage doesn't mend it. Someone will examine the tear, choose a strong thread, and patiently stitch the separated pieces together. The seam may remain visible, but it can become stronger than the fabric around it. Social healing works in much the same way. Truth identifies the tear. Accountability supplies the needle. Compassion is the thread. Relationship is the patient work of stitching. The purpose is not to erase the past, but to create a future that can hold together. Last week, I was at the Convention of the Americas in Chapala. The theme was Many Paths, One Truth. And many people attend this year after year, and others came for the first time. We come together like a family reunion. People from different communities, different countries, speaking English or Spanish or both. Yet the common language is that of love. We had an exercise where we looked into each other's eyes, really looked deeply into our souls beyond the appearance of the eyes. We shared meals together and separated for different workshops and came together again for general sessions. We formed new bonds, new relationships, and rekindled old friendships, learning about each other at a deeper level. We shared laughter and tears, but mainly we shared a human bond. Our love for each other knew no boundaries or borders, even though there are invisible ones of different countries and different cultures. We are one family, one love, one consciousness. We connected North and South America as one continent. Imagine the day when we can truly connect the entire globe in this manner. One global family of humankind. If you haven't already attended the Centers for Spiritual Living Convention of the Americas, I highly recommend you do so. Registration is now open for 2027 at www.conventionoftheamericas.org and click on the 2027 logo in the top right-hand corner. I hope to see you next year. Aristotle wrote this: friendship is a single soul dwelling in two bodies. So as we learn new ways of being in a relationship, it's important that we do set some boundaries. Prentice Hemphill writes that boundaries are the distance at which I can love you and me simultaneously. Boundaries, they wrote, are how we shelter our authenticity, our real selves, and they are essential as we build relationships with one another. So it's important to honor our own boundaries and to accept others' boundaries as well, as we learn to value people for who they are It may be uncomfortable because we might have to rethink our perceived notions of the world and the way it works. Along with boundaries, being in relationship requires making and receiving apologies. As human beings, we are guaranteed to be hurt and to hurt others, especially when we are opening up to new ways of being. Eknath Easwaran wrote this in the Upanishads. The one who looks upon all creatures as the self and the self in all creatures feels no hatred. So with all this world division and wars that are happening, we need to put aside our differences and come together as one. It's time to heal the world, to reveal the truth of wholeness. Adrienne Marie Brown wrote, "Our relationships benefit when we are able to apologize whenever we realize we have created or caused harm. It's also important to be able to receive an apology. We don't want to rush and accept something that doesn't actually touch into the wound, but we do want to be available to other people's accountability. Receiving an apology and the accountability measures of another person is a sacred act. The truth is that we live in an abundant world. There is enough for everyone. To bridge our differences and build relationships across lines of perceived differences requires cultivating accountability, building relationships with curiosity, setting healthy boundaries, and learning the importance of making amends. The risk is great, but the rewards are greater if the end goal is truly to create a world that works for everyone and all of creation. So think about places in your life where you have allowed labels or stereotypes to keep you from building authentic relationships. How can you work to become curious and meet people as they are? Make an effort this week to engage with something that makes you question your labels and stereotypes. Read a magazine with a different viewpoint. Try a new food. Watch a TV show. See a movie or play that looks at the world from a viewpoint that's different from yours. And I'll leave you with this quote. The great lesson is that the sacred is in the ordinary, that it is to be found in one's daily life. And that takes us to our affirmation of the week. I create bridges wherever I go. So now it's time for news and updates at our center. If you are interested in learning more about the Science of Mind teaching, we do offer courses via Zoom as well as in person. So contact me or check our website for the details. There's also a survey for your input for upcoming courses or classes that you would like to see. So please check that out, submit it so that we can arrange dates for those. And if you would like to have a one-on-one connection for a spiritual mind treatment, please contact me so we can arrange a time for this. If you would like to become a member of the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta for this current year, as we do renew membership annually, or if you would like to be on our board of trustees, please contact me and I will send you the current forms. I'd also like to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. And let me know if you would like to receive our weekly post on Substack. Also, a reminder that you can receive the annual subscription of the Science of Mind magazine for the online version. The annual payment is $19.95. And since we are celebrating our 100th anniversary this year, we are challenged to get 1,000 new subscriptions this year. So please help us reach that goal. And now it's time for mindful giving and financial support of our spiritual home. We rely on your support to continue our center here in Puerto Vallarta so that we can continue offering this powerful teaching of the science of mind. We bless the financial gifts that you give today. Every donation is greatly appreciated, no matter the amount. Donations can be made using PayPal or Tithely through our website, www.cslpv.org. And you'll find the donate buttons on both the landing page as well as on the page where you find the weekly talks. Alternatively, you can still send in a paper check by addressing it to CSLPV number 403, 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, B1Y 8M1. And now, please join me in our offertory affirmation. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So thank you for coming and sharing this time together. And let's continue practicing peace. We can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words and our actions create ripples of peace all around us and beyond. Peaceful living includes acting with compassion, kindness, and consideration. And it also includes standing up against injustice. And today, more than ever, we need to stand for peace. So hug your friends, your neighbors, and your loved ones. May peace and love be with you. Blessings to all. Namaste.